Hello and welcome to the second Seer sessions. Just really want to thank everybody for joining us today. Today's a really cool one. We've got Rob Young with us, who's the CEO of a fantastic Dynamics partner based in the UK called Infinity. So here's Rob. Get some on the screen, Rob. Oh, there we go. There we go.
How are you doing? I'm all right, mate. Thanks for having me.
No, not at all. Thank you very much for finding the time to join me today. So as per the all the sessions we're going to be running, just wanted to sort of find out a little bit more about Infinity and your story.
Thanks, Rich. So Infinity today is very different to what it was when we started 20 years ago. So today we help create a more productive and secure world for our clients, and we do that as a pure play Microsoft partner across all three clouds. So infrastructure with Azure, modern work with Microsoft 365, and business applications using CE, Business Central, and the Power Platform. We've got about 100 employees, mainly based in the UK, but we've got some people in Europe and Asia now. And it's really been quite an exciting journey, I guess. But if I take you back to the beginning, we were set up initially as an MSP back in 2001, and I was employee number one. And as all small businesses, you're kind of running around doing all these different things, and we were kind of all things to all men. And kind of as in the early years, I suppose, we were doing a lot of kind of IT support, managed service type stuff. And then in 2006, we merged with a telecoms company. And the idea behind that is, I don't know if you remember, well, VoIP back then was probably 10 years premature, and the infrastructure and data connectivity wasn't there. But the idea was those two technologies were coming together, and we were looking to kind of transform that industry. So we merged with a telecoms company, and that gave us a really good understanding of managed services, what good customer experience looks like, how the billing works, how you manage that kind of service and the teams that you have internally. And then kind of fast forward to 2013, good friend of mine, Twiz, who's now partner in the business, he was talking to me, and he was doing stuff around Dynamics and was working for a partner. And I guess as a business, we've always wanted to help people. I hate the word digital transformation, but transform. I really want to help them as a business, whether it be infrastructure, whatever. And so moving to that application layer was a kind of the next natural step for us. So Twiz came on board, and we started delivering some sort of smaller Dynamics projects. Now, to put some context in that, over the last 22 years, you can imagine there's been quite a lot of change in the digital market. Going back to 2001, everything was on-prem based. I think that.
So were you a partner with Seer 1.2 then? No, you didn't do 1.2.
No, we started on CRM 2011. I think was probably the first. Yeah. The first one we used. I mean, the iPhone didn't come out till 2006, and God, I don't think we live without it anymore. Many times I wish we could. But
I don't know what you're talking about. Mine is always miles away from me.
So yeah, a lot changed, and we kind of moved into this new world of we obviously done professional services as an MSP, but they were quite small projects, and generally there was a very low amount of risk involved in these kind of projects. We knew what we were doing, we knew the outcomes, and all of a sudden we're delivering these projects that were slowly kind of creeping up in size, and we're delivering on these on-premise platforms where we're having to write so much code outside of the actual platform itself. Sort of the no-code kind of philosophy wasn't around. Power Platform wasn't around, and so we're kind of sticking a lot of these things together, and Twiz, a lot of it's in his head. So then when you're trying to expand your managed service practice, it's very, very difficult to manage all that stuff, and we learned a lot of lessons. You know, we got burnt quite a few times trying to deliver projects in a kind of waterfall kind of approach where a customer comes in and says, well, I just want you to sort this out, and how much are you going to charge me? And you sit down at the beginning of this project and they say, right, this is exactly what we want it to do. Of course, in reality, that's not how things work. And as you start to get into the project, you know, they change their mind. They want to do this, they want to do that. And you have to have that ability to be agile and change and fail as well. You know, you have to be able to make mistakes. And so we got burned quite a few times in the early days with projects being delivered in that way. And I remember, I don't know if you remember this, Rich. This is probably the first time I met you, but I came to TVP. I think it was around 2015. Rob Pope organised a thing, roundtable. What's it?
Yeah.
I remember you were there. Will McKinsey was there. Adam Spur from ANS, I think.
That is a rogues gallery of a room. Before we
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Vicky from Van Boom and James from Techman, all those people were there. And for me, it was like, these are like the sort of godfathers of ERP. You know, these are these companies.
Yeah.
And we were still relatively small at the time. And I guess the reason I'm explaining all this is, you know, we're a managed service business and MSP that's kind of moved into a business applications world. And you guys, I guess, have come maybe the other way from being a professional services business.
Yeah.
Now having to embrace managed services in a different way, and it's to which you ever did.
Well, I'll be honest with you, when we were thinking about setting up Seer, and again, with the purpose of this stuff is not talk about us, it's talk about our partners, but when we did think about setting up a new business, a managed services dynamics business was kind of one of the initial concepts, right? Because I do think that is a model that if it's really hard to do well, because and that's testament to the fact that so many have tried and failed on that one. Clearly you have tried and succeeded, right? So but if you get it right, you know, it's better for the customer, it's better for the partner, you know, and it's just an all-round better model. So the fact that you've been able to do it is awesome, really is.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, listen, we're not there yet. We our sort of approach to projects now is more of a agile. So we're kind of in the middle now of Waterfall and through agile, and we get most of our success through the fact that we'll break projects down into smaller chunks, and then we'll give fixed kind of deliverables out of those chunks. But what it allows us to do, and when we look at our successful projects, it allows, like I say, the customer to change their mind, to try different things, to try something and fail, because until you actually try it, you don't really know whether it's going to work or not. And I think, you know, going back to what Satya Nadella said about, I mean, it must have been about 5 or 6 years ago, he turned around and said, every business is now going to be a software business. And he didn't necessarily mean they're going to be a software business, they're going to start writing code. What he meant was they have to think like a software business in order to grow and prosper. And I think we're now in that stage, in that evolution where that's the way it is. And companies that want to succeed, because, you know, all their competitors are doing this, all their competitors are digitizing their processes and using technology in different ways. To now compete, you have to be able to adapt and change. And I think that's testament not just to the sort of our delivery methods and everyone else's delivery methods, but it's also to the sort of cloud platforms like Dynamics, where the product's constantly evolving. You haven't got the worry of the infrastructure, all the code and all that stuff, because you can do stuff so much more within the actual platform itself. You know, Microsoft release, you know, with CE, for instance, there's four waves a year. So there's new features coming out all the time. The customers want those features. They want to be able to integrate them. They want to be able to use them, get the benefits from them. So if we can build a managed service where we know, as a sales stream, for instance, what it takes to deliver a good sales process and good slick sales system, and we can use tools to identify that, and we can deliver those pieces effectively. For sure, there's going to be some stuff outside of you know, the low risk stuff, so integration, for instance, or data migration, where it probably has to go back to a more traditional time and materials.
Yeah.
The sort of what we're working on and our innovation lab is working on is building streams through aligning with Microsoft's modules, so sales, marketing, field service, project operations, whatever it may be, as a fixed price, fixed monthly outcome. And we can manage that in the same way we manage our managed services and have done successfully for the past 22 years.
And I think for me, that's one of the cool things about Infinity is the fact that you're not a pure play Dynamics partner. Right, so you're able to bring in not just the technology, but the business models, the learning that you've had from doing other things, right? Like the telephony stuff, like the VoIP stuff. And you're able to learn from past experiences outside of the Dynamics world and bring it together.
Absolutely. I mean, I think you have got to be careful, right? You can't try and do too much, and that's something we probably learned. We streamlined what we did about 10 years ago in the fact that we said, right, we're going to be pure play Microsoft. We're going to specialize in this area, and we built out separate teams. I mean, Dynamics, the business applications and infrastructure and modern works team are now probably 50% each of our overall business. So we're kind of at that equilibrium place. Business applications is growing massively. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the growth rate of that over the last 3 years has been way outstripped infrastructure and modern work, but it is still about 50% of our business at the moment.
Yeah, I saw some stuff actually. I should have mentioned it before this call about Teams users being able to look into CRM without a license.
Yeah, absolutely. There's new features coming in all the time, and what we're seeing now is we're actually seeing we're having conversations with our infrastructure and modern work customers about how we can then take them to the next level. How can we really help their business? How can we talk to their directors and C-suite and say, look, we can really help your business transform by using these tools. And because the platform is now so mature, you can almost start using it straight away.
Yeah.
Get it live, get your DevOps environment set up. We can start doing some work, but ultimately you can start reaping the benefits pretty quickly. And that ties in with that managed service. We're not going to deliver everything on day one. You're not going to have to wait 2 years or a year or whatever it is for your project to go live. We can deliver pretty quickly, and then we can start tweaking and improving it as we go. Very
cool. So have you got a customer example that you want to talk about?
So we recently have had a customer of ours called Spy Alarms. We had them, Microsoft had done a customer story on them. So Microsoft Corp picked it up.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. I think, one of the reasons they liked it so much is it is so relatable. Often you see these case studies and they're kind of, banks or enterprise customers, and, you kind of average type SME, SMC businesses where we sit, they can't necessarily relate to it. And I think Spy Alarms is a really good one because they're an alarm company. They service domestic and commercial alarms. They're based in the southeast of England. They've got something like 50,000 customers. And they've been on a very strong acquisition trail over the last 10 years. I think they've acquired like 20 companies or something, small alarm companies that they then need to integrate into their main business. So that in itself has borne many challenges for them. You've got lots of disparate systems, data's all over the place. Often this stuff's on-prem. They need to have a structure, a process when they bring these companies in to align to their, to their systems. So that was one of their issues. And another one of their issues is they have lots of people doing manual tasks, scheduling engineers, for instance, manually entering their sales orders and processing their sales and all that kind of stuff. And so there were some real quick wins in that particular customer base. And, by implementing Dynamics field service, we managed to reduce costs, and actually we saved 3 full-time employees. And the thing is, you're not saying, oh, you're getting rid of these employees. These are reliable, these are knowledgeable people within their business that really do understand it and can add huge value, but they're not adding value trying to schedule an engineer's trip. So what they've done is they've managed to save 3 full-time positions. That's 2 with a scheduling and 1 in the sales operations element. And they've moved those people into some real value pieces within the business where they're actually giving better customer service. They're able to talk to their customers and do the human element that generally you're not going to be able to do with technology. So that was huge. So we reduced the cost. We help them grow. So we're helping them with their integration. We've got like a fixed package that helps them integrate when they're bringing new businesses in. They've obviously got a really engaged team because they're using the latest technology. The booking an engineer now takes 2 or 3 seconds, whereas before it took 6 or 7 minutes. Their customers are really happy because they're constantly kept up to date with text and emails as to where engineers are and when they're coming. Funny enough, one of their engineers was here yesterday, and I was looking at his app, and
you kind of had to buy one of their alarm systems, did you?
Yeah, no, well, yeah, we were a customer of theirs before they were a customer of ours.
Oh, right, okay.
The users are really engaged because they're using the latest technology and apps and Power BI, and it's all cloud based. They actually reduced the average miles the engineer done by about 5 miles per day, which adding up, I think they've got about 100 engineers, something like that. Add that up over all those engineers, and there's a huge cost saving.
Massive.
And obviously reduce their environmental impact. And
also in the current times we've got where it is difficult to find people, right? So the ability to do more with what you've got, and on top of everything else that you've already talked about, it's a big competitive advantage. Right?
Exactly that. We're going through the same process internally. Funny enough, as like all businesses, we're transforming ourselves, and we've got Business Central we use for our finance operation, and we've just launched our expenses app, and we've got a purchase invoice. So when the purchase invoices come in, they automatically get routed to the person to get authorized. Someone had to do that manually. Someone was manually taking the invoices and emailing them off and getting approval, and then had to check and all that stuff. That's all automated. Our credit control process is all automated. They're just little things, but all those little things add up to 1, 2, 3, and before you know it, you've saved someone 40 hours a week, because you're able to use technology in the right way, and again they can then be focused to add real value. And when, as you say, you're in a jobs market that is, I think they said yesterday, 3.5% unemployment or something ridiculous like that. I mean, it's the lowest it's ever been since day whenever 70s something. It makes.
I'm not going to go into politics on this particular call, but when apparently there's now more job vacancies than there are unemployed people, right?
Exactly.
So it's just clearly something's going to have to change somewhere. And I think the way that they're looking at doing it using technology, there's a fairly obvious way of doing it.
Absolutely, and I mean, we're recruiting people in Europe, for instance, and Asia, and by having these cloud technologies, by having this secure systems, we can there's no different. We can just spin people up wherever they are, and they've got that kind of hybrid work environment where they can work wherever they need to.
Cool. So what's next then for Infinity?
So for us, the future. At the moment, we're sort of delivering a lot of great projects across a variety of verticals. And again, going back to your earlier point about how managed services has brought great good things to the kind of biz apps professional service world. It's similar when we're doing stuff across different industries. You can see we're doing a project in aviation at the moment, for instance. You can see particular processes and way they do things, you go, oh, that could actually work in retail, or it could work in.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that we're doing all these different verticals, but we're continuing at the moment. We've got a lot of success with the way we're delivering projects, but we're actually, our innovation lab are now working on a modularized managed service. So we will bring a customer on, we have a fixed monthly fee, and then we work with them over a 36-month period, for instance.
Yeah.
And we're continually transforming them. It's not, here's a product, see you later. It's, here's a product, it's continually growing and changing. We want to bring you all the benefits as it continues to grow and be successful, and we want to really help you be successful. I think what is really important to that is to make sure that end users, customers, clients have some kind of business value assessment at the beginning as well. I think it's probably worth noting that.
A benchmark to measure before and after.
Yeah. So I'm jumping around a little bit, but
No.
But the business value assessment is so important. We've got stuck in projects before where often people get a bit carried away with the technology. Sometimes someone's involved in a project and they love the technology. It might be whatever it is, AI or whatever, and they get so obsessed by this particular technology and they don't actually realize it's not really delivering much value to people that are going to benefit from it or something. Business value assessments are probably the most important thing that you can do. And if you're in a project at the moment, go back and do one, because it will help you identify where those quick wins are.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the future. The future is a managed service, effectively, that will wrap up our professional services. Because what we're doing is we're taking a client on, and in the case of Spy Alarms, they came in with field service. They've now got marketing, sales, customer service, business central, and they've evolved through those products as we've identified, where their business problems are and challenges are. And I think it's a constant journey. So, we've been dealing with them for probably 18 months, 2 years now, but it's constant, and so it does go over a period of time. So if we can say, well, there's a fixed price over that period for your sales, for your field service, for your BC, whatever, then they're not massively in the hole before they kick off. They can actually start getting value back from that straight away. And they've got the confidence that they can continually evolve the product. They haven't got to solve all their problems immediately. They haven't got to bait for this big solution.
But I will say though, mate, you have to earn the right to do that, right? Yeah. So you've earned the right with that customer to do the further workloads.
Yes,
because that's one of the things that I think a lot of Dynamics partners struggle with, and I'm not putting the companies I've worked with in the past on the pedestal at all on that. You do the first project and you hope it goes well. Everybody goes into the project hoping it goes well, and sometimes it doesn't, right? That is the world of biz apps that we work in. But if you are able to do the first workload well, you then earn the right to do the second, and in your case, the third and the fourth, right? So, so I do think that's testament to the work that your team have done. I would say you, but I'm guessing you haven't done any of that particular.
It's not me at all.
No,
I've got much more attractive and more intelligent people than me.
And that's just Tristan. Yeah.
That's just Tristan. Yeah. But no, it's 10 years of trying something, getting it wrong, trying again.
Iteration.
Getting it wrong, trying it again. And, so we've built up Tristan heads up our innovation lab, which we set up about 2 years ago. And the point of them is when we take this project, there's various elements of it that are quite repeatable, whether that's through scripting and code and what have you, or whether it's just a process or templates or whatever it is that we use that we know is successful. The tooling that we use at the front end, the business value assessment to make sure we're aligned with what's actually going to be the biggest value for the customer, and then making sure we're working with a customer in partnership. It's always a partnership. It can't be draconian. You've got to deliver all this stuff, blah blah blah. It has to be two ways. A customer has to put in as much. There's no one that understands the customer's business better than the customer.
Yeah.
And so it has to be a partnership. And we can actually, like I say, spin up these environments quite quickly, and whether it be the DevOps or whatever it is, and how we deliver it, like I say, effectively becomes a managed service, and it's an ongoing relationship. And like you say, you can't, you maybe do the sales piece, there's success there, then move into marketing because they want to then, start proactively contacting those customers. Oh, actually, we've got a finance issue. And then before you know it, you've got all these systems in one place. You've got Power BI sat over the top, and you're able to get, the boards are able to get access to their data instantly. The teams are able to see where they're performing across the board. And it's a really, really valuable tool. Cool.
Well, thank you very much for walking us through all that. As I said, I think Infinity is an awesome partner. If people want to get in touch with you, I put your LinkedIn URL. So that's Rob Young Infinity Group. So you better hope you don't ever move, mate. Otherwise, you're gonna have to get a new LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, I did know that was actually my LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
I've noticed. Yeah, look at that.
Obviously, Tristan set up for you. And then infinitygroup.co.uk is your website.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for sharing your story. And I think it's testament to different business models, trying different things, learning, iterating over the years, and you've ended up with an awesome partner that I'm very pleased to be able to work with. So thanks everybody. I'm going to end this LinkedIn live session now, and but feel free to leave comments in below, and I'm sure Rob will answer stuff that's directed to him, and I'll definitely do the same.
Absolutely.
Thanks everybody, and I hope everybody has a great rest of the week.
Thanks.